This year's prom parade was another big hit, bringing the community together once more to celebrate our high school juniors and seniors.
I've been in a lot of communities, and I don't think that they do what we do here in Columbus. This is special.
But even on prom night, safety comes first.
But also, I mean, it changes my experience with not only drunk driving, but also texting while driving, or knowing if I'm tired and I shouldn't drive.
Next up, the East Planetarium has been standing ever since the school was built, but many students are unaware of its purpose or even its existence.
It's sort of mind-blowing how sort of big and extensive the universe is.
And finally, we'll look at how many thrift shops in town have felt the effects of the recent social and economic factors pushing shoppers to the second-hand economy.
Definitely, it's more cost-effective. It's better for the environment.
All that and more coming up on Torch TV.
Onward and forward.
Welcome back to this year's last Torch TV. I'm Girum Linnemann, and I'm joined today by Eden Knight. Eden, are you excited to graduate?
Oh, as much as I love this place, I am ready to get out and get on to college.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Now let's get right into some quick announcements. The end of the year is fast approaching. The last school day for seniors is Monday, May 19th, and for all other students, it's Wednesday, May 21st. Be sure to check your grades on Canvas and PowerSchool and complete all final assignments, and clean out your lockers before school is over. Graduation for all schools is just a few days later. CSA graduation is at 7 p.m. on a Friday, May 23rd. Columbus East has early graduation on Saturday, May 24th at 10 a.m., and North graduates later that day at 1 p.m.
Prom is one of the most important events for the year for high school, juniors, and seniors, but it can also easily become one of the most dangerous. The community of Bartholomew County is devoted to making sure prom is as safe as possible for its high schoolers. And in the annual Safe Prom performance is one of their biggest assets to do this.
Situation happens all over the country. Prom night. Friends out for a good time, and then the driver makes the mistake of adding alcohol to the equation.
What did I do?
And the passengers make the mistake of trusting that driver, who they know has been under the influence.
These drunk driving accidents happen every day in the U.S. and kill almost 2,000 teens each year. The city of Columbus has made it a priority to prevent these accidents from happening, especially around prom. To do this, BCSC, the Columbus Mayor's Office, and Columbus City Emergency Services team up each year to produce Safe Prom. In an effort to make the danger more realistic, the scene of a drunk driving accident is portrayed in stunning detail through high school actors and real first responders.
To be honest, this experience, I wasn't expecting it, but it felt like it was a real accident. Like, as soon as they pulled the tarp off, it felt like I was actually experiencing that and feeling the loss of my friends and, upset of what was happening.
I think it's made it more real, the side effects of it, because everyone will tell you, hey, don't drink and drive, but then you just kind of, take it out to the back of your mind, it's just, something to think about. But while actually, seeing a situation that could happen, that, you could be in that instance or one of your friends could, can I really put that into perspective of what not to actually do in the future.
The Columbus Police Department, firefighters, and EMS all arrive at the crash site, just as if it really happened. Students are able to see the arrest of the driver, the medical procedures for severely injured victims, and even the heartbreaking operation of removing a deceased passenger. Parents of the deceased arrive on scene as well to display the pain felt by all those not in the crash. Safe Prom aims to teach high schoolers what happens after a fatal car crash in hopes that knowledge will work as prevention.
I mean, it changes my experience with not only drunk driving, but also texting while driving, or knowing if I'm tired and I shouldn't drive, because a crash like that could happen just to anyone.
Safe Prom has been very statistically successful in Bartholomew County, but each year is a new challenge to engage students. Everyone involved goes the extra mile to make an impact on the high schoolers and keep them safe while they enjoy prom.
I hope the impact on the students allowed them to understand what impact their actions can have on them and why it's so important to truly make safe decisions.
So I mean, like, high schoolers think that they can do what they want and think that things can't happen to them, but I feel like this was an example that things can happen to you. So I feel like it's just very important that people know that there are consequences to their actions.
Safe Prom continues to teach and influence BCSC students, making it so that everyone can enjoy prom night without the worry of dangerous drivers.
There is so much to enjoy on prom night. The dance is fun, but even more special is a parade that is put on downtown in Columbus for students, parents, and the community to appreciate.
It's great. It's fun. This is kind of a highlight of our year, and being it's the last, it's kind of sad.
Every school in the U.S. has prom, but what makes Columbus special would be the parade.
Oh, I don't know of any other school traditions, but I'd say this one's really fun, and I like how we have a safe area that's good, and we can like close it off, and everybody can go through, and people actually like to come in and watch it. So,
you know, I've been in a lot of communities, and I don't think that they do what we do here in Columbus. This is special.
I think it's just another like fun, unique add-on to prom and make the night a little bit more special.
Not a lot of schools do something like this, so it just makes Columbus kind of stand apart from the others. I know some kids come to prom just for the parade and walking in. Like that's the biggest part of it for them.
The parade has been around for many years. It started off with students walking on the red carpet, but as parents came to watch, students began to cruise through the streets into what we know today as the prom parade. Over the years, the city has taken over, making sure safety precautions are in place.
Well, it used to be more of a student-led thing. The city has really gotten involved in the last few years to really prioritize student safety.
My first year or so of doing this, it was too congested. The cars weren't moving, they weren't going very fast. And then the next year, maybe they were too spread out. So yes, we've evolved into making this thing more safe and flow better for the people who aren't involved and the people who are involved. There is a staging area for, let's say you want to bring a boat. Well, we don't want a boat with full kids to go out on the road. We have to make it street ready. So there's a staging area for that, and then there's a destaging area to get the vehicle street ready for safety precautions.
This year's prom was interrupted by rain. However, that didn't prevent the community from coming, and they continue to watch the city's annual tradition.
Oh, I love the parade. I think it's great for the community. It's great for not only the kids to show what they've worn and wear, but also the parents and brothers and sisters and family as well. They enjoy it.
It definitely brings everybody out. Look, even beside the rain, it doesn't stop anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see our community coming together and supporting our kids, even in this kind of nasty weather. So that makes me proud to be from here.
Although the weather on prom was rainy, let's see what the weather is looking like this weekend, as well as more on the tornadoes and severe weather that have occurred in the last few months.
Thanks, Girum. This weekend will certainly feel like summer break, with today being cloudy with a high of 83 and a low of 65, plus a 50% chance of rain. Saturday is sunny with a high of 71 and a low of 60. Finally, Sunday will be partly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low near 54. Looking back at the past few months, tornadoes have surged across Indiana, especially thriving during spring weather, causing massive floods. In the spring, there has been an abnormal amount of severe weather, which includes tornadoes. Tornadoes are measured on a scale such as EF1s, which are considered weak, and to EF5s, which are intense and extremely dangerous. Columbus had a series of mainly EF1s and EF2s.
In Indiana, we did just set a record for, we now have, I believe, 43 tornadoes, and we've never had so many so early in the season. We've had several what we call severe episodes of not just tornadoes, but severe weather in general. But since it's sort of late winter, early spring, when these systems are passing by, there's a lot of energy in the mid-levels, strong waves that have been combining with this warm and humid air to present favorable conditions for severe weather.
These weather conditions have worked together to create these harsh tornadoes and storms. This amounts to buildings and areas to be damaged. Homes were ripped apart, power lines were struck down. It was hard on the people who had to face such conditions.
Generally, it's, trees are going down, power lines are getting blown over, and occasionally homes oftentimes will sustain what we call superficial damage to roof or siding. That's typically from your EF1s.
We're currently not living in our house because of the tornadoes.
But on a year when you have 50 to 60 tornadoes, you're obviously going to have at least a few that are, EF2.
It's just inconvenient, I guess. We were in the hallway, so I think we've tried to find a better place to stay, if something happens like that again.
I think the new normal might be having more tornadoes than we did in years past.
Later on into April, Columbus, as well as all of Indiana, was hit with massive flooding. Due to the winter weather, the soil wasn't prepared to soak up that much water. As it continued to rain, the water began to add up, which resulted in flash floods.
It's more like the flash flooding happens when you have a lot of heavy rain in a short period of time and the drains just can't accommodate it and the water just pours up.
Well, it was 26 inches of water in the basement. We lost our furnace, our water heater. It's been tough. No electricity, no running water, no hot water when we did get our water back on, no heat because it was during the 2 coldest days. Instantly, I was just devastated, and then realized that all of our totes that had everything in it was pretty much destroyed. It's just devastating. I think I'd rather have a fire because then you can't see what's destroyed.
We hope to see less of this severe weather and get ready for the summer heat. That's all we have for weather.
After the break, we'll look at the benefits of weightlifting class for non-athletes.
Then we'll explore East Planetarium and its history.
All that and more coming up on Torch TV.
We have breaking news. A mother and daughter were found dead after a sudden car crash this evening. One witness says he caught the man on his phone while driving.
It's gone for the USA!
Rolled across the line.
How about the shock? Second for Sarah Hildebrandt, Olympic champion.
Welcome back to Torch TV. Students are able to showcase their hard work in the East weight room. Non-athletes specifically appreciate the opportunity to take weights and all the benefits it brings them.
I think students who are not playing a sport, they do weight training because they just like the feeling of getting stronger.
You can see the work over time. At first you think it's kind of dumb and you're not gaining any weight, but after some time you actually see some muscle and you get some confidence from it and it pushes you to do a little more.
It's like wearing your muscles, wearing your body. It's like kind of like a badge of honor. You kind of show other people that you take care of yourself and that you can do hard things. Weight training, it obviously benefits athletes to get better at their sport, but it benefits everybody. It benefits regardless if you don't play a sport or not. It's not just benefiting your body, which is what most people think. I mean, of course you get stronger, but you also build mental resilience. You also build some emotional resilience. You're able to focus better and just kind of push yourself a little bit more. It's not just for the athletes, for everybody.
I feel healthier, stronger. I feel like I could do more. I got a tolerance. It's like, you know, just lifting weights, actually running, pushing myself. I feel like I could do more.
weight training obviously benefits athletes 100%, but it also, I truly believe that no one is meant to be weak. Being a weak version of yourselves can lead to injury. It can lead to getting sick more often. It can lead to just like not feeling good about yourself. I'm not surprised at all to see so many athletes in here that don't play a sport that still just love to weight train. Because if I didn't play a sport, I'd still be doing this as well.
Weights class is very beneficial to athletes to improve them at their sport, but it is also great for non-athletes as well. Non-athletes may not be exercising as much as athletes do, and weights is a great way not only to strengthen your muscles, but your mind as well. Weights class helps build physical and emotional resilience, which can be applied to other areas of your life.
Non-athletes and athletes alike find many benefits from weight class at East.
On the 12th, boys varsity volleyball team played against Greenwood, Bloomington South, and Jennings County, sweeping the field with a 3-0 to win their round-robin tournament. The next day, the girls varsity track and field team competed in the Hoosier Hills Conference in Seymour, winning third with a score of 78 and earning their place in the CEHS sectionals at North on the 20th. Also coming up, our varsity softball team has a game on the 19th away at Jeffersonville. JV softball is going against Indiana Creek on the 20th, playing here at home. The same day, varsity baseball is playing away at East Central and JV away against Cathedral. Get your tickets now and come support our hardworking teams. Good luck to all of our Olympian athletes. Back to you at the desk.
East held their annual art show in the Commons, displaying hundreds of art pieces, including clay art, 3D art, and still pictures. Students from the intro to third year got a chance to display their hard work and dedication to their pieces on the gallery level for all to see.
It's really nice to be able to show people what you've been working on. I personally really love the art show because I really enjoy not even just being able to see my own art on display, but I love seeing other people's art, and I love seeing how, even with the same instructions, we all make different things. I love just seeing what everybody does and how everybody's art is very unique and different.
The showcasing of this amazing fair could be described in students' words as
creativity, inspiration, and talent.
The talent on display was incredible to see how these young artists' minds showed their creativity towards their art pieces.
The Orange Pit, the Resource Floor, and the Commons. These are all things associated with East High School. However, there is something unique to East that you may not be aware of. Junior Kinsey Smith has more.
Columbus East High School was built 53 years ago, but not many people know about its planetarium and what it contains.
In the planetarium, what we get to do is we get to simulate the night sky. And so we use the star projector to pretend that it's dark outside and we can be underneath the stars. Now, the nice thing about the star projector, too, is we can set it to any time, day or night, or any season of the year at any time. So we can explore the stars and constellations of summer, and we don't have to wait until summer to do that.
The star projector is an original piece in the planetarium, surviving the flood of 2008 and being one of 7 that are still in perfect condition. Along with the rich history of the planetarium comes the Columbus East astronomy class. In the astronomy class,
we learn the science of astronomy. So it's not just do we learn about the stars and the planets, but we also sort of know how we know that, right? So we take a survey of the history of, how in ancient times people observed the sky and made notes of motion of objects. And so we then progress from that to our modern understanding of what those objects are made of, what makes them move across the sky in the ways that they do.
Students will explore a fascinating range of topics, from the distant planets that orbit our sun to the origins of Earth itself. But how are they finding the class experience?
I really like astronomy class. We get to do a lot of different projects and research like a bunch of different things, and I think it's really cool to learn about like space. I like going to the planetarium because it's a lot easier to see stars than when you're actually outside, like in the city here, and you can see all the constellations a lot easier.
Mr. Chastain has been a dedicated teacher at East since 2002. Throughout his time here, he has experienced personal and professional growth throughout the program and prioritizes making quality time with his students a key part of his teaching approach.
It's sort of mind-blowing how sort of big and extensive the universe is. Everything that we can understand about astronomy, I think, helps us, know our place in the universe and puts things in perspective. I mean, I think it's all interesting, but it really only takes on meaning to me when I get to share it with somebody else. And so getting to share all of these experiences with the students is what makes it all worthwhile for me.
Eden, have you ever been to the planetarium?
Surprisingly, no. I've been here all 4 years, but I've never gotten a chance to visit. Have you?
I have. I had to go down there one time for my AP Bio class, and I thought it was really cool.
Nice. After the break, we'll take a look at how the removal of the Department of Education is going to affect future students in their education.
And the second-hand economy, better known as thrifting, is becoming a more popular trend with the younger and older generations and doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon.
The Turning Point Karaoke event was a huge hit for everyone to show off their musical talent and support the cause for neglected youth.
Gotta go faster, my bad.
I'm so late, oh my gosh. Let me in, please.
You want to get in these doors, you got to go through her.
For the past 3 years, Bartholomew County's small but passionate community has been hosting a successful Comic-Con despite our small population size. Our Zeus Marino has more.
Comic-Cons are conventions created by fans of comics, shows, and other forms of media to showcase their love and talent with others who share the same passions as them and build a community that celebrates these interests in pop culture as a whole. However, Comic-Cons typically take place in larger counties, and Bartholomew County isn't as large as the counties in LA or Chicago, which raises the question of how a Comic-Con in Columbus is sustainable.
I think we can sustain our own Comic-Con because, as previous years have shown, there is a great interest in the community. It's also something that is unique because it's completely free. You don't pay for parking, you don't pay for tickets. The vendors don't pay for their booths or their tables. So we have a lot of very new artists, authors, people selling things for the first time ever who can't afford to go to Comic-Con in, say, Indianapolis, where it's like hundreds of dollars to just pay for a space. This is a great way for people to kind of get used to the circuit, so to speak, and like test out their wares and get some things sold for the first time ever. And it's a great way to bring the community together because it's a free event.
A large aspect of Comic-Cons is the community. Both the hosts and the people participating in the convention create a diverse community with people who come together from all different places for a single interest.
I'd say they're very welcoming. Everybody is so welcoming to no matter what costume you wear, as long as you had a costume and you put something into it. Just how welcome they are to anybody who even attempts, or even the people who aren't cosplaying and just want to see what's going on. It's just a very welcoming environment to anybody, and we are glorified nerds here.
Comic-Con made a surprising resurgence in Columbus, as have other trends like purchasing secondhand goods. This used to be taboo, but recently social and economic changes have been pushing both younger and older generations to embrace the cheaper option.
The retail clothing market fivefold grew by 14% in 2024 and is expected to reach $74 billion by 2029. None of this is hard to believe considering the sheer amount of antique and thrift shops around town. Days of Old is one of many antique stores here in town, yet it thrives alongside all the thrifty competition. One of the booth vendors here told me this is because each store and each booth offers a unique variety of items you just can't get anywhere else at a better price. The same vendor has been selling antiques for almost 14 years and has seen a growth in appreciation for these unique items, especially among the younger generation.
Walking around and looking at everything, thinking about the stories behind each of them was really intriguing.
This kind of growth doesn't happen without reason, and much of the growth in the secondhand market can be attributed to recent social media trends.
I think one element is just cost-driven, but I think also vintage clothing, as I'll call it, can become very trendy and very popular, and so it may or may not be less expensive than new clothing, but I think it becomes a fashion trend.
I have seen like a lot more stuff about thrifting on social media. I wouldn't say that's influenced me. I mean, it's definitely brought it to my attention more. It used to be kind of taboo to go thrift shopping. It still is in some places. Like there are the fancy thrift stores that are made for higher end people that cost extravagant amounts of money that just aren't realistic for regular everyday people. And those are the kinds of thrift shops that people glamorize.
No matter what is trending on social media, many people will choose to thrift for their personal and moral motivations.
Thrifting is definitely more cost effective. It's also way more sustainable. It's better for the environment because you're preventing clothes from being thrown away and that material being wasted, and you're allowing it to have a second chance.
Yeah.
Tariffs have been one major economic factor pushing consumers towards the secondhand market, with 72% believing that tariffs will hurt the short-term economy and 53% believing that it will negatively affect the U.S. economy long-term.
With the signing of the executive order to take down the Department of Education, parents and students alike have questions about their education. By turning away staff and funding, programs could be at risk, and it could include schools shutting down, creating a roadblock for students that rely on these necessary programs.
With President Trump trying to take away the Department of Education, students wonder if their future might fade away with the potential removal of funding towards schools.
If the funding that comes with the department is also removed, that'll have some big ramifications for BCSE, for our students and their families. So the federal budget only makes up less than 10% of all of BCSE's money. So most of the money that funds schools come from the state, and then some come from local property taxes, and then a small percentage come from the federal government. So
with potentially less funds, some wonder if their curriculum could change and if it could have a lasting impact for the rest of the future of education.
But I don't think it would likely result in any elimination of programs. Maybe just, we would maybe not have to replace some equipment or little things like that in the short term. Nothing that would eliminate programs. So no, I don't think curriculum would change really at all. Almost all of that is set at the state level. And so the state determines what the curriculum is, what all those rules are.
Trump threatens the funding that is provided under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or also known as IDEA. This allows children with disabilities to have access to the appropriate public education. Trump also earlier terminated 7 of 12 regional offices for the Office of Civil Rights. By taking away the OCR, it leaves many without the protection against discrimination.
And now we head over to Abby Nolman with this week's international, state, and local news.
Thanks, Girum. The past few days have been busy in the Vatican City as the new Pope of the Catholic Church was chosen on Thursday, May 8th. Pope Leo XIV is the first ever Pope to come from America, with his hometown being Chicago, Illinois. Pope Leo has implored journalists to use communication as a tool for peace, just one day after calling for a ceasefire and access to humanitarian aid in Gaza and an end to the war in Ukraine. Pope Leo spoke to an audience in the Vatican City and concluded his message by saying, quote, "I ask you to choose consciously and courageously the path of communication in favor of peace." In other international news, on May 10th, the U.S. and China met to discuss tariffs on trade and agreed to temporarily reduce the punishing tariffs they had imposed on one another while trying to defuse a trade war. In a joint statement, the countries said they would suspend their respective tariffs for 90 days. The U.S. would reduce the tariff on Chinese imports from its current 145% to 30%, and China will lower its import duty on American goods from 125% to 10%. In international news, on Tuesday, May 6th, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration's ban on transgender military service members, lifting a lower court injunction against the policy. 2 days later on Thursday, Pete Hegseth announced the deadline of 30 days for openly transgender members to voluntarily exit the military. Those who do not leave risk getting kicked out on June 6th, which is coincidentally D-Day.
We are leaving wokeness and weakness behind. No more pronouns, no more climate change obsession, no more emergency vaccine mandates, no more dudes in dresses. We're done with that.
In local news, Columbus local 24-year-old Tanner Vandeman was incarcerated after hiding in a women's bathroom stall and holding his phone underneath a lower stall in attempts to record an 8-year-old girl Friday night at Total Fitness. CPD found recording equipment on Vandeman and learned that he had been convicted of voyeurism in the past. Vandeman was arrested for voyeurism, a level 6 felony, and remains in the Bartholomew County Jail. The investigation is still ongoing and more charges are possible. That's all for news. Back to you, Eden.
Every year, a karaoke fundraiser takes place downtown. About 300 people attend this year alone, and it continues to grow yearly, along with the amount of money raised for the abused and neglected youth in our community.
Created in 2014 by Mike Rossetti, Sing continues to be advocates for children's most popular event, and they intend to continue this event to raise money for the abused and neglected youth in Bartholomew, Jennings, and Decatur County.
There are children that have needs for getting into foster care or getting out of it, actually.
I think children are one of the more vulnerable parts of the community, right? So they may not be able to speak for themselves, or also they can get hurt more easily.
There are children in our community that are being put into situations of no fault of their own, and that we have a responsibility as the community around them to make sure that they find safe and permanent homes.
These children need all the help they can get, and community involvement is highly crucial and beneficial.
Advocates for Children wouldn't be able to do anything we do without the support of the communities that we serve.
It helps get a bigger outreach of people in the community when there's an event like this. But spreading the word of why it's important, it's for those kids in the foster system.
Meet like-minded people that want to help within the community. So that is a big part of it.
Our community is just so important because they just continue to lift up the kids that need the most amount of support in our community.
While one goal is to get many people involved in the event, the main focus stays on the children they're trying to help.
As a board member, I like lots of people to donate their money, and we each year we have raised, we reached our goals. I don't think we beat last year though.
I would like Sing to be a community event like the Mill Race Marathon is. Like when you hear Mill Race Marathon, you know what that is. So eventually I would like the same kind of awareness about our mission.
The new part is that now there's a wait list, right? And maybe there's just more people reporting.
Right now, I think last time we checked, we had 90 kids on the wait list. So when a kid is on the wait list, that means they are going through the court process without an advocate by their side.
As the waiting list grows, it's easy for these children to either give up or lose hope.
This exists for them, and so don't lose hope. And there are people looking out for them to get them in a safer environment.
When kiddos are in foster care and they're moving from home to home to home, it is really easy to feel like no one's thinking about you. The people that are in our office and the volunteers that we have are always thinking about their kids and how we can do better and serve them and get them safe.
So if you need to vote, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and let's raise some money for our kids. Thank you, guys.
That's all for this year's Final Torch TV. From Abby, Colin, Advika, and the rest of the Torch TV crew, I'm Girum Linnemann.
And I'm Eden Knight. We will leave you with highlights of East Media from the entire school year. Thank you for watching, and remember to take care of yourself, others, and the place. And as always, try to be the best part of someone's day.